Garadian said, how the F are they going to get 9 billion or whatever the amount of free floating cash they have at all? Layoffs ain't going to cut it. Mike, now, okay, we'll set, actually, it's a good segue. I'll use this to segue. This is something that Valiant should learn. Let's pivot. Star Wars sale. Mike, you said something on my locals, and I want you to just repeat it. I know you said it there, but you don't think that Disney is going to sell Star Wars. No. You think they're gonna you think they're gonna try to find that money elsewhere through cuts in content. Obviously, they've done some non-content cuts, and then borrowing the rest.
Yeah, let me tell you this.
Okay.
Well, let's go back to your video earlier, which I didn't really talk about when I made my comment on your locals. But
yeah, my Disney video.
If Star Wars is announced as a sale, that is going to have a huge detrimental impact on the stock price, because that's going to be reflective to the outside world that they're admitting failure, things suck. The only way that that's a win, if it's even possible to be done, is if the situation where like they're going to make money on it and somehow make it happen. But I'm going to go with what Tom Connors said earlier in Midnight Edge in the show earlier, in Midnight Edge in the morning, which is that to pull the DNA of Star Wars out is analogous to pulling, like, I think, Tom, what did you say? A tumor within a tumor. And so
yeah, people have been quoting me.
Like tumorception?
Yeah, well, because here, let me just finish this thought and then turn over to you, Tom.
Sure.
But here's the thing: is that
you're fine. Keep going.
While I don't doubt that they may have gotten, maybe they got an offer, maybe someone wants to actually buy this piece of crap. Who knows? Maybe they do want to buy it. And some people have said,
we'll talk about who in a second, but let's
all right, so we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So I just think that to extract it from Disney is going to be. I just think the public announcement is just such a dumb move for them to do, given what's going to happen to the stock price. It's just too high visible property. I think they will do, and Bob's ego is, now, should they sell some shit? Absolutely. They absolutely should start value. If I were Bob Iger, I'd say let's value every business unit and let's figure out which of these things we can sell. And at the same time, let's cut. And then I'd say to Comcast and Hulu, they're already in arbitration. They've been in arbitration. They've been in arbitration now, what, 3.5 weeks now? 4 weeks?
Yeah.
And I would just push that shit back. Interest rates today were announced that they were holding, and they're not going up. They're holding. Now, will they go down? Will they go up? I don't know. They're higher than they've been in ages. So if I were Bob in his ego, I would not sell anything. Cut. Sell stuff that isn't like high visibility. Push off the Hulu. Hopefully borrow some money at interest rates that aren't out of control, and pray to God that the September 30th fiscal year ends with decent financials, that I can actually pay out a dividend, even if it's only a fucking penny. Just pay out something, a penny,
per
10 cents. Yeah. Just get any dividend out there, because nothing's been put out since November, December 2019, I think. And I would just do that dividend. The stock will go up. They'll be hopeful. Push back the Hulu thing and just delay that escrow transaction. It's like real estate. If you don't have the money to close, get an extension on that close.
Yes.
Push that fucker out until you get your financing in place, and pray to God you can make it.
You're right, and that's the thing. It's just borrow more. I mean, the solution is borrow more, kick the can down the road. I mean, at a large corporate scale and a national scale, that's the strategy. I mean, it seems to be the move, right? Let's just delay this pain of having to come up with the cash.
Although I don't put it past Bob to come up with a creative way to get some cash out of somebody. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Apple.
How is he going to do that? He's putting Mickey Mouse on the streets. Like what? Like where are they getting this?
Never underestimate the weatherman's ability to act like that hoe that just needs one more purse to go for Friday. Baby, it's not for me. It's for you, so that I look good with the dress.
One more Balenciaga. It's really going to get them there. One more is going to get them there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, God, Iger.
Come on, you know this motherfucker. You've been around Florida forever.
It's true. And we don't know, to be clear, and I don't think any of us know what his deal with Apple is. I don't think any of us have any clue about that.
No, I think flies to Cupertino, talks to the board, schmoozes on stage. Did you hear who he was with, I think today or yesterday?
Yeah, I just showed it. Did
you show it?
the tweet. Yeah, I'll show it again. I think Pro had it up, so let me pull it up here in a second.
He's schmoozing his ass off, this guy. You think Bob wanted to be on the Apple stage? That is precursor for he's talking to them about something so that when it's announced, they're going to like, one of the big things that people in power do that not a lot of us like average folk realize often enough is that they build stories and they create a future that by the time we get there, the announcement they make is the past that they created in the present we're now in.
Right. They invented the future. So it looks like they're predicting stuff. It looks like they're reading stuff. So they're talking,
so you saw this.
How are we going to come together to spin this narrative? Because this is why I cover these stuff with you guys, because culture is united with politics. It is united with the law, unfortunately, now, because we're having lawsuits coming out of this. So this is kind of the melting pot of politics and culture in all the worst ways. Now, and like I said, Mexican Iron Man, I talked about this with Valiant, but what it looks like they're doing, what they're probably doing here, is they're just probably doing some basic expansions to Disneyland, and they want some tax credits. So they're saying, look, we'll do some woke virtual signaling, and we'll do some pink washing over here, and we're going to trade our voice on LGBTQ issues, backing you up, Gavin. We're going to trade that for you giving us subsidies. Yep. So, I mean, that to me seems, I don't think it's going to be anything radical or super different for Disneyland, California.
I wonder if Bob has sent a thank you letter to Armand DeSantis for keeping his company afloat.
I don't know. Maybe he was pretty thankful enough to send those people in Nazi outfits out in front of Disney, so his local leftist socialist Democrat friend could take a photo of them. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep. Hashtag fake news. Dang it, Bob.
100% fake news. Yep. All Bob. It's all Bob. So let's go back to Star Wars though, because I want to hear what you guys think about the purchase, because I haven't had a chance to talk to people about this. I've been moving the last week, so I've been in a little bit. So excuse me, I'm a little bit out of it. Tom, Star Wars sale. Do you think it's happening or not?
No.
Just a hard no. Okay.
No. I mean, there would have to be. First of all, somebody would have to come up with like a company or whoever would have to come up with the amount of money that would make it worth it for Disney. And then going back to the whole tumor within a tumor thing, like that's just it. You have so many deals that are attached with Disney, and this is where WDW Pro was talking about it too, where, there's just so many license deals already. You'd be buying it from Disney, but they would probably license it to themselves before the sale, just so you're stuck in this deal with it. Like it's all kind of weirdness going on in there that I don't even, like I said, Pro can explain it better than I can on that part. But the other side of it is it just, unless somebody would pay them like $5 billion for it, why would Disney sell it? And I know people have used like the Power Rangers for precedence and stuff like that, but they also didn't put the amount of money into the Power Rangers they did into Star Wars. And Power Rangers is not nearly as popular of a franchise as Star Wars. Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar are the three main things that Disney has right now that are worth a crap. Those three things are even more valuable than their own animation studio.
Yeah, just as intellectual property, just because the intellectual property itself has a value.
Right,
that's the thing.
Then people are talking about, well, they could sell, ILM or something else that could be carved out of Lucasfilm. That's true, but at the end of the day, ILM and Skywalker Sound and all those type of businesses are the only parts of Lucasfilm that are turning any kind of profit.
I was going to say the valuation on that would be interesting, because they're the ones that are turning the profit, but also you're just selling the component without the IP, so you're not going to get those big billions that you wanted for the.
And they just devalued the hell out of Willow. They're about to devalue Indiana Jones even more. Star Wars has been cut in half as far as its value, at least. So why would Disney sell it for like $1.5 billion? That's pretty much what it's worth at this point.
Sub George Lucas numbers, like, for sure.
George Lucas does not have the money to be buying it. No.
So
he has money.
So let me put it out, like, in terms of the rumor, right? Because like who who contacted them. So presuming somebody contacted them, are you guys with, because I think I saw this tweet. I know Pro can't make it, so I'll try to just show his tweet here. Are you with the confirmation that George Lucas was not the person that made the offer, like that George Lucas?
I highly doubt it. He got rid of it for a reason. He's old. He's got other things going on. He's married now. He's got children of his own. He had adopted children for years. I've heard his health isn't even the greatest at this point through various channels. So
I'm more blunt. He doesn't have the money to buy this thing back.
He has money, but not the kind of money. Exactly, not that kind of money on.
Do you think did he go and spend it all, like, or did he?
No, he put it in charitable remainder. It's in family trust. It's in charitable remainder trust. Some of it was donated, and then let's keep in mind. Here's the I explained this. I got in a fight someone comes at me in the live stream. I go right back at him. This was last week.
I mean, especially if talking about numbers.
He had something that was worth arguably 400, 800 million, and then sold it for $4 billion. You know what the capital gains tax on that bitch was?
Well, it was worth a little bit more.
And now he's going to use after-tax dollars to go back and buy something again. No.
Well, that's the problem you have first and foremost is this thing was overvalued from the start.
I'm laughing because sorry, Tom. I'm laughing because this is the first time I've heard this stream. Do you know what the capital gains tax is on that bitch? Like that is just like I like words. I
only
never
accountants talk like that.
Only accountants talk like that. That's how you know he's legit. I'm like, only an accountant would say that. Sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
And only a Mexican accountant would say, "Bitch, do you know what the capital gains taxes is on that motherfucker?"
See, that's the funny thing is that Clint Howard told me that he wanted the 4.05 specifically because of the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told me. Like, because in the book, Bob Iger. Okay, so this actually goes along with what I was going to say anyway. The initial value for the company, that when they came back, when everybody did their due diligence on the company, they said, "Look, George, it's only worth like what was it, 2.5 or closer to 3? I think, Mike, what was it originally?"
Say that again. I'm sorry, what?
I think it was like 2.5. I think they valued it at, or somewhere closer to 3 billion.
Yeah, and then they overpaid at 4.
Well, and the thing was, is George came back. No. I want the Pixar deal.
Yeah.
And he wanted, and so they said, Marvel. "Well, we'll give you 4 billion." And I think that was the same amount they paid for Marvel, close to it. Actually, I think they paid more for Marvel, but it doesn't matter. Point being, and he's like, and he made a big stink about the 0.05, and I guess the 0.05 was so he could pay his taxes on it. It's what Clint Howard said. That's why he was so hung up on the 0.05, because that way he'd have an even amount. And then, like Mike said, after it was bought, he put a big chunk of it into a trust for his kids. He gave I think he gave almost half of it away just to charity. Remember right. So, but that was the whole point, is he wanted it worth that value. And Bob went back to him and said, "Look, we can't crunch the numbers enough to make it worth that much. But if you get everybody signed up, you get some sequels in order, you get somebody set up like to run the company, i.e. Kathleen Kennedy, then maybe, just maybe, we can say it's worth something, especially if you get like another Indiana Jones movie in the running or something like that, a Willow project maybe," which they did. They did all those things. George went out and signed up Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, got Harrison Ford to sign on, and his deal was, "I get to do another Indiana Jones film." And he said, "Great," because they want one anyway. So that all happened to work out. Willow, the same thing. Just about everybody involved there was willing to come back, Val Kilmer being the only exception because of his health. So that was another thing, that things were rolling along, and they're like, okay, so we got everything in place here, and that's where they said, okay, it's worth 4.05 billion. Now it's not even worth half that, if that.
Right. If that.
That's the bigger problem you have now. So it would be a major, like, what kind of a kick to the teeth would the stock take, Mike, if they were to sell Lucasfilm right now, lock, stock, and barrel for $2 billion?
10 to 30%, in my opinion. Although I'm not a financial person.
No, that's not financial advice. It's just
just an estimate, an educated guess. Yeah.
This video has been a clip of a previous live stream, and it's clipped so you can get the information in a shorter, compact package, the information you need. If you want the full video, the whole context, the whole thing, you can check out the full stream. That is in the link below. Check that out, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.